going on right now? Is there going to be a euro breakup? How do you see that going? Could you explain that in detail for us?
In my opinion, the euro is a very important strategic direction for the German elites, who are at this moment unquestionably dominant over European economic policy. The tool of this hyper-dominance, in my view, is this common currency, the euro. Simply consider the following. In the year 2000, before the euro was introduced as physical currency, 27% of German exports were to countries that would become the Eurozone. That's the year 2000. In 2009, 44% of German exports were to Eurozone countries. In other words, from 27% to 44%. Also, the euro has brought streams of capital flows into the German banking system and lowered the cost of borrowing for every individual institution in Germany, giving them a competitive edge, because businesses in Germany have a lower borrowing cost than in Greece, for example. Coupled with the wage stability in very low levels for German workers, what you get is a powerful elite of industrialists and financiers exploiting German workers while making them pay for the bailout of German banks, selling them the narrative that they are bailing out the lazy Greeks. Mm-hmm. Considering all this, I think the Germans would never risk the end of the common currency. A so-called Brexit, in other words, a bridge to the national currency, would inevitably bring an existential crisis for the euro itself.
Michael, I hear the music. Thank you for being with us, and you'll be on next week when Webster Tarpley returns to provide us with your amazing analysis. And thank you for being with us and to being a friend of the party. Talk to you soon, Michael.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
This alert just came in. This special announcement is for business owners and leaders of organizations who've been waiting for the right time to build. General Steel has made it impossible to wait any longer with rock-bottom prices that could save you thousands. That's right, General Steel, America's leader in pre-engineered structures, is offering buildings at prices you will never see again. Don't miss these prices. A 50 by 100 for $35,000. You heard right, that's 5,000 square feet for $35,000. Manufacturers, if you need a larger building, try a 100 by 100 commercial building for $129,000. You can't afford to rent with these prices. Imagine a 70 by 100 foot church building for under $69,000. With the economy improving and interest rates still at historic lows, you can't afford to wait. So call 866-91-STEEL. Lock in your price now. Call 866-91-STEEL. That's 866-917-8335.
I'm Kay Swirling from KSCO Radio in Santa Cruz. I'm 93 years old, and I'm a big fan of Alex Jones because he has the courage to speak his mind more than just about anyone I know. Alex is just as bothered as I am about all the advertising you hear for toxic prescription drugs that make you sicker, not healthy. I prefer to give my body all 90 essential nutrients it needs for life to prevent prevent disease, not compound it. My favorite complete supplement is Beyond Tangy Tangerine from Youngevity, which I take every day along with EFA Plus and Beyond OsteoFX. I recommend you go online to InfoWarsTeam.com to purchase these products and make them part of your daily regimen to get healthy and live longer. InfoWarsTeam.com.
Normal blood pressure, naturally. How would that make you feel?
I'm Don from New Mexico. January of 2000, I had a heart attack. Then my real health began going downhill, and I had high blood pressure, high blood sugar, poor vision, and I really wasn't sleeping well. I was a mess, pretty much.
Don reports dramatic improvements with Heart and Body Extract.
I started taking Heart and Body Extract, and from within a few days, I started sleeping a lot better. My blood pressure normalized, my blood sugar normalized, and my sleep really did improve.
Experience these benefits and more when your body gets what it needs with the assistance of Heart and Body Extract. Order at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305. That's hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305.
Folks, I did not expect this at all. By the 7th, 8th, and 9th day, I saw dramatic improvements from taking Heart and Body Extract.
Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
A little right, a little left, but always independent-minded. The Genesis Communications Network, GC.
Radio, we are heading over to Essex, England, to speak to Stuart J. Hooper, who is a candidate for Parliament in the South Basildon East Thurrock district, which is a district in Essex. Stuart is the youngest candidate for Parliament in this district, and we believe he is the only true austerity candidate that we can find in the United Kingdom, and this is why the Tax Wall Street Party is endorsing his candidacy. There are Green candidates in the ticket, on the ticket throughout the UK, but with their energy austerity and weak economics, I cannot truly call them anti-austerity. Unlike others who use austerity as a talking point and jobs as a talking point, unlike all others, Stuart is way ahead, has a way of actually paying for his program, and that is by taxing the City of London at 1% and nationalizing the Bank of England. Thanks for being with us, Stuart. Today, are you there, Stuart?
Yes, thanks for having me on, Daniela.
Great. Today, I think we should focus in the short time we have on this week's big hurdle in your campaign, which is raising the funds by Monday to pay for your 40,000 leaflets, which will be delivered free of charge as a service by Royal Mail for those who achieved ballot status. I've calculated, Stuart, that, and this is interesting for the audience to know, that this is about a $20,000 free service if you consider that this is postage for 40,000 houses at about 50 cents a piece. So we need to raise for you $600 by Monday to pay the printing costs for the full bundle of 40,000 leaflets, which is a great price for the full 40,000, but I don't know what goal are you up to now, Stuart? About $200, 200 pounds?
We're pretty much halfway there, so we only really need £200 more to go. So that's about $300. That's it.
Okay, so we're halfway there. Okay, so what if you can do it? Please, the second you hear this episode air, it's only a few button clicks. It's very easy. You'll give the coordinates in a second, Stuart, but I've done it. It's a couple button clicks. You go to the fundraiser link on Stuart's Facebook page and you just donate. And the maximum is £49. And we have to get this done by Monday so he can get the flyer off to the printer and in the mailbox of 40,000 voters in his district. Okay, Stuart, what are the coordinates for your Facebook page and where they do this donation? Let's start with that.
So on Facebook, you're going to want to search for and head to Stuart Hooper for Parliament. That's the name of my page. Or you can just type in facebook.com/Hooper for MP, HOOPER FORMP. And there you'll find a link just in the center under the main header picture labeled fundraiser. Razor spelled R-A-Z-R. Or if you go a little bit further down the page, you'll see a bright yellow button that says Give via Fundraiser. So you can head onto there and contribute anything up to 49 Great British pounds, no more than that.
And I've done this, like I said, it's 2 clicks, and $300 more gets us a $20,000 service for free and puts a leaflet in the mailbox of every voter in your district. Stuart, in the time we have left, do you want to give an overview of your candidacy? That'd be really helpful for people who haven't heard about it yet.
Yes, so I'm trying to run, as you said, as the only true anti-austerity candidate in not only just my district, but the entire country. The Conservatives have implemented a regime of destructive austerity measures and have quite literally failed to tackle numerous political and financial scandals, the HSBC scandal being the biggest one yet, I would say. The Labour Party admits that there's going to be more austerity cuts, and it's going to take them until 2020 to actually implement their £8 an hour minimum wage, which would be a living wage target. But obviously, by the time it gets to 2020, I doubt that will still be a living wage.
Do you have a minimum wage in the UK, and is it insufficient to be called a living wage the way ours is insufficient to be called a living wage?
Yeah, we do absolutely have a minimum wage, but as you say, it is insufficient. And the reason it needs to be a living wage is because we don't currently have any higher wage jobs. So people are stuck in these minimum wage jobs, but they can't support themselves and their families. So we need to be able to make sure that they can do that by ensuring it is a living wage standard, and we need to get that up to £8 an hour, not by 2020, but quite literally the second that the new government takes power.
It's a little bit like our fight for 15 over here. It's a little bit lower than 15 at £8, but it's similar, and that would bring us closer to a living wage. So I have a question. I don't know if we've answered it in any other shows. Do you have an equivalent of a Detroit in the UK? And what are the main infrastructure needs for the UK right now?
So there's not really a Detroit exactly, but the north of England has been massively de-industrialised. So that's caused a massive loss of jobs in the north of England. I'm down here in the south, and in my particular area, we recently lost an oil refinery. So that had some very high paying, very high skilled jobs, but unfortunately now those workers have been forced to move as far away as Scotland, and some have even gone to Saudi Arabia. So we need to nurture that kind of industry and really make sure it's maintained and develops and keep those jobs here in the local economy where they belong and can do good. And in regards to the infrastructure, we have big problems with congestion on the roads. Trains are constantly packed at rush hour. There is simply not enough capacity on trains. That's a big issue in my district as well. So that needs to be addressed.
So you have the public transportation issue too. I was talking to Michael Chiotinas in Athens earlier, and he was saying that this public transportation situation is Euro-wide. We have no high-speed rail in America, and most of our cities have dire public transportation. So that seems to be at the head of everybody's list.
Yeah, absolutely. It needs to be addressed because this is how we keep the economy ticking over.
When you said people are going to Saudi Arabia for jobs, you mean British citizens are leaving to go find work in oil refineries in Saudi Arabia? They literally have to flee the country to find work and be away from their families? Okay.
Yes, that's people in my district that have had to
your
leave.
District?
Yeah, that's right here. They've had to leave and go to Saudi Arabia to find work.
And be separated from their families.
Yes, yeah, completely separated from their families for extended periods of time. So this lack of this high-paying, high-skilled jobs is really not only causing a dent in the economy, but also in people's family lives.
Well, I mean, the average uninformed person, I'm sure, over in England and over here would blame the problem on immigration, and their first response will be like, well, what are they going to do besides go to Saudi Arabia? They don't have any jobs. And what we're saying is, here's the equation, guys. There are absolutely jobs rebuilding crumbling infrastructure in each of our own respective countries and modernizing it to the 21st century. There's no reason we need to be traveling around on 100-year-old trains. Stuart, before the break, can you just finally tell us how you're going to pay for your ideas, because this is unique in all of England. Sorry.
Yeah, so we can pay for all that infrastructure development, all the reindustrialization, the NHS, which is also under attack, which I've spoken about on this show before, and even free university education, which I've spoken about on this show before, with a 1% financial transaction tax on financial institutions in the City of London. That's only